Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into Charles Dickens' final and maybe his most complex masterpiece, Our Mutual Friend. It's this incredible, sprawling story all about money, mystery, and really what it even means to be human.
All right, so picture this, a dark, foggy night on the River Thames in London. And you've got to understand, the river here isn't just a backdrop, it's practically a character in its own right. It's murky, it's full of secrets, and it gives life just as easily as it takes it away.
And bam, right away, the mystery kicks off. A body gets pulled from those dark waters. But here's the thing, it's not just some random guy. Nope, this is John Harmon, the long-lost heir to a massive fortune, who was literally on his way back to England to claim an inheritance he's now never going to see.
So yeah, that's the big question, right? This one discovery just sets the entire massive story in motion. His death throws everything into chaos, and it's like pulling on a single thread that's going to unravel secrets all across London society, from the fanciest homes right down to the grimiest riverbanks.
Okay, so with the heir supposedly dead, all that money has to go to someone else. And this is where the story gets, well, kind of weird. The entire fortune was made from London's giant dust heaps, and I mean that literally. We're talking about valuable, towering mountains of garbage full of everything from coal ash to animal bones.
So according to this very strange clause in old Harmon's will, the whole estate, the whole fortune from filth, goes to the family's humble servants, Mr. and Mrs. Boffin. And just like that, poof, these totally ordinary people will become unbelievably rich, and the newspapers give Mr. Boffin this fantastic nickname that sticks, the Golden Dustman.
And listen, we are not talking about a small amount of cash here. That £100,000 back then is the equivalent of over £12 million today. I mean, can you even imagine? That's enough to launch them into this whole other universe of high society and fashion that they know absolutely nothing about.
And you can see the change almost immediately. I mean, their lives are completely flipped upside down. They go from this simple, happy life to being the center of everyone's attention, and suddenly they're just drowning in social climbers and fortune hunters who all want a piece of them. And this new world they're in? Oh, it is filled with what Dickens so brilliantly calls brand new people. We're talking about social climbers who are just desperate for status, and their whole identity is wrapped up in what they own and how they look. I mean, how great is that quote? A trifle sticky. It just perfectly captures how fake and superficial this whole society is. The veneerings are the absolute peak of this. Everything about them, from their friends to their furniture, is shiny, brand new, and completely hollow. There's just nothing real underneath. It's all a show. You know an author is a genius when they literally invent words that stick around for centuries. Dickens gave us the term podsnoppery from this book. It's basically that attitude, you know, the one, that smug refusal to acknowledge anything that's unpleasant or that might challenge your little worldview. It comes from Mr. Podsnap, who would just wave his hand and be like, nope, I don't want to know about it. Okay, so this is where things start to get a little dark. The story really begins to dig into this massive question about the very nature of wealth and what it actually does to a person's soul. So does it? Does money really change everything? Well, if you look at Mr. Boffin, our once sweet, kind-hearted Golden Dustman, it sure looks like it does. He starts to transform, and not for the better. He starts saying things like this, becoming suspicious, paranoid, just obsessed with his money. He gets stingy, even cruel. It's like the fortune has just poisoned all the good parts of him, turning his back on the man he used to be. Now, this whole change really hits one person hard, a young woman named Bella Wilfer. The Boffins had kind of taken her under their wing, but Mr. Boffin's new nastiness puts her in a really tough spot. It becomes this massive test of her character, forcing her to look at herself and her own desire for money and status right in the face. And what's so fascinating about Bella is how honest she is about it all. She fully admits she's mercenary. But at the same time, she's watching Mr. Boffin, and she is just disgusted by what greed is doing to him. So she's stuck, right? She has to make a choice between a life of comfort and a life with integrity. But of course, this is Charles Dickens we're talking about, the king of the plot twist. Just when you think you've got it all figured out, he reveals that nothing, and I mean nothing, is what it seems. That pile of dust, it's got one more giant secret to give up. And bam, the reveals start coming, and they are huge. First off, Mr. Boffin being a jerk, totally fake. The whole thing was an elaborate act, a test to save Bella from her own greed. Second, the body in the river, not John Harmon.
The real John Harmon has been right there the whole time, hiding in plain sight as the Boffin's quiet secretary, the very man Bella has fallen in love with. And by choosing to marry him when she thought he had nothing, she proves her love is the real deal.
So in the end, it all wraps up pretty neatly. Everybody basically gets what's coming to them. The novel's message becomes crystal clear. The villains, who were all about appearances and money, they get ruined. But the heroes who chose love and, being a good person, they're the ones who are truly rewarded.
So our mutual friend leaves all of us with this one last, really powerful question to think about. It suggests that maybe the real treasure isn't the gold you can find in a pile of London's garbage, but the good you can find in the human heart.